So our login form seems to be working. We can authenticate, we can get a JSON Web Token back from the server, and right now, of course, all we're doing is logging that to the console, and that's not terribly helpful. So what we want to do right away, of course, is to lift state, to take the response we're getting from the server and put it back in the state on the parent component. And to do that, of course, we need a function, just like we did when we did our lifting state tutorial. So we're going to add a handler here, or a function, which I'll call handle JWT change, the same syntax we used last time around. That takes one argument, JWT, and we're going to just call the handler that we received as a property in the root to this particular class. This.props.handle JWT change right there, and we'll hand it JWT. And up here, after we do our console log data, we'll call this.handle JWT change, and we'll hand it right now, we'll just hand it data, okay? And we can check to see if that works. We can do that by going over to app.js and just giving a visual representation of the state. So we can go pre, and then json.stringify this.state null 3, just like we did a long time ago. And that will give us a view of this state on our application. So let's go have a look at it. And you can see right now I have the login screen and there's my state. JWT is equal to nothing. So let's log in. me@here.com, password, and see what happens. So there is our JWT. Now that's not exactly in the format that I wanted, but it's nice to see that it went from this component up to the parent component, and from there I can push it to any other component I want. So let's just change this. We don't want that response. We just want JWT to be equal to a string. So let's go back and make a slight change to our code. So back in login.js, instead of saying this.handle JWT change, we actually want to grab just the value of the actual token. So there's lots of ways to handle this, but the easiest way is just to call our standard object. Object.values, plural, and hand it data. And we get that result back as an array, so we want the first index of that array. Let's try that. Let's go back to our web browser, and I'll just reload everything. Okay, so we have no value in JWT state. So let's log in, me@here.com, password, and log in. And that looks much better. There is my token. And now I can do anything I want with it. So the last thing I'll do is redirect. And we'll just push the user back to, say, the /admin root. This.props.history.push. And we want to go to pathname, all lowercase, /admin. Let's try that and see if that works. So I'll reload. Nothing in the JWT in the state, so me@here.com, password, and we are redirected and we have our token in state. Okay, so the next step is to actually protect those roots. Right now it appears to be protected, but if you know the URL you need to go to, you could in fact get to the screens that should be protected. And we need to protect those on the back end. And we'll take care of that in the next lecture.